It's
Hello.
us.
I like how as you said that, Clay just goes, like, shooting across the room. He's like, "It's time." Hello, everyone.
Welcome back to Lobotomies in the Ladies' Room. We are a day late because we were actually performing real life lobotomies.
We were in the 3rd stall.
Indeed. See, if y'all followed us on social media, casual plug, you would know that this past weekend, Donovan and I were reunited.
We were.
Keep an eye out for the photo dump.
Truly. It was a magical time. It's what the world needed. It's what we needed. It's what the universe wanted for us. And we had
Yeah.
a hoot. A little too much of a hoot. We definitely had a holler. Several hollers.
Yeah, I had to rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to
Yeah.
rest.
I'm still not recovered. So,
I am, you know, can't say the same for myself personally. I do feel fine now, but I did
I think it's the lack
also.
of sleep, honestly.
Well, yeah, mama, you got on a fucking plane at 5 o'clock in the morning
Yeah.
after the festivities.
Which ended at, like, 2:30. I had to go straight to the airport. Well, I had to go home, get my stuff, and then go to the airport straight from the bar.
And oh my god.
Yeah, he feels my plight too. Thank you, Clay, for sympathizing with me. Thank you so much.
See, and people say that your party days end when you're like 24.
Clay said, "No,
They don't.
no,
They don't.
they
28 is the
don't."
new 21.
You know what? To an extent, yes, but my body is definitely like, "Slow it down, diva. Slow it down." You know?
Yeah.
You're like, can't quite relate."
Well, see, here's the thing, right? I don't really drink like that, so I always like, okay,
There.
what a crazy statement to make. If you would have asked me like a year or two ago, I'd be like, you're lying. But now it's like
Well,
I really only drink socially.
but I think it's because whenever we're all together, every, pink moon, we go hard
Yeah, no, we do get into it.
because it's like a joyous and celebratory occasion that we're all together.
This is
Um,
true. This
so
is
it's like,
true.
what else do you do? How else do you celebrate? You know?
Yeah, like, what are we gonna do? Reunite and have a knitting circle? Please.
Right. I mean, we
Please.
could, but
I,
that's not gonna happen.
I don't know how to knit and I'm not gonna learn, so.
No. Fair, fair. All right, so today's thought starter. What was your when did your political third eye open? What did it for you growing up? Like when you're like, "Oh, this is what I stand for. This is how the world works." When do you feel like you became
Hmm.
like a person of the world? I'm standing for this cause.
So, I know that it started to you know when you wake up in the morning and your eyes are like, "Ooh," and then you close them for another 15 minutes?
Mhm.
It started to do that when I was, like, 9 because my mom
Mhm.
introduced me to Rage Against the Machine, and
Mhm.
I was like, "What the hell are these people talking about?" And then I
Mhm.
learned, and I was like, "Wow, that's sick," and then
Mhm.
just, like, continued living my suburban life. Um, but it was probably, for real in 2015, 2016
Okay.
when I was a senior in high school and could register to vote for the first time,
Mhm.
and I was
Clay agrees with you.
uh, um, but yeah, I think feelings about Hillary Clinton aside, it was really cool to be able to vote for my first presidential election. The fact that I had the opportunity to vote for a woman was
Yep.
crazy.
Yep.
So that was cool. And then I started going to a bunch of protests and shit because we all know the outcome of that election. And now I vote in every election ever because it's my civic duty.
As you should. Heavy on it's your civic duty. Go vote, people, please.
I
Uh,
vote for my felon friends who aren't allowed to cast a ballot.
period. Thank you.
Dude,
Craig is
he's
very he
dude.
is lit. He is into the conversation today. For me, I think it hit the most when okay, darling. Yeah, your nephew. Um, for me, it was when the protests for Trayvon Martin started. Um, oh my God, how old were we? I feel like that was like late middle school.
I think it was early high school.
Okay, that sounds right. That sounds right. But I know for a fact that's what triggered it for me.
Wait, when did Corey
Um,
Monteith die? The only reason I remember the year that the Trayvon Martin thing
mhm.
sadly happened
Wait, then
was
you
the
know what?
same
It was early high school then. We're
it was
searching people.
2013. We would have been freshmen in high school.
Yeah, okay, so then there we go. So just starting freshman year. And then also the mixture of that and me also going to a white conservative Catholic high school where my class was like the first like class of color that like it was just a snowball effect. Um and then Obama got elected for the second time. And then that also triggered a whole lot in my school because you had all the racist kids saying wild stuff to the point where they had to like call it quits at school and like hold an assembly and be like, "Hey, this is the tea. We can't be doing this. We got to get along, people." Which it helped nothing. But that really like kickstarted it for me because not only was I realizing like how the world truly operated and saw us as Black people and people of color, but also being in an environment where you have to face it every single day, um, was a lot. So, yeah, we could do a whole episode on Catholic schools because my goodness, what a cult.
I would actually love to interview you about Catholic schools because
I
I did
will
not get brought up in
happily
research.
I will happily answer any questions about that place. Um, maybe that can also be a time we can bring Timmy into because we both have shared trauma. There's a lot of like also the people who have come out of our high school and have gone on to, be great in the media sphere have interesting like when I see them talk about it, I'm like, huh, that's how you remember that. Okay, interesting. Because we were there at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I'll just that is my answer. But today, folks, um, we're talking about politics. We were on a roll last episode towards the end. Um, with our wait, what did we call it? Diva down. What is it?
Something of the sort.
You know,
We're just gonna rename it every time because
right.
who can remember
Well,
everything?
exactly, exactly. Um, but we were on a roll and we went to set the tone to let you know what time we're on and let you know that we don't do that nonsense around here. All right. Um, so yeah. So Kira, why don't you start us off?
Hi, my name is Karen. I'm a communist. No. Um, so I was raised in a household with really left-leaning politics because
Mhm.
of who my mom is.
Mhm.
I thought that's how everybody was raised. I can't even
Mhm.
lie. Come to find out, that's not even how my
Mhm.
own family was raised, so that was crazy.
Mhm.
Um, like, my grandma was a Fox News truther. All of my uncles are right of center. The white passing existence myself and my relatives have experienced, I've noticed have gone 2 very different have divulged.
Mm, mhm.
A path forks in the wood,
Mhm.
and I went left, and a lot of
Mhm.
them did not.
Mhm.
So that was always really crazy,
Mhm.
which definitely led to a lot of political brawls, both in private and occasionally in public forums with one of my uncles. Um, I don't know, girl. I think it wasn't difficult for me to align with left-leaning politics because it's all
Mhm.
common sense of, like, treating people how you wanna be treated
Mhm.
and, like, demanding the quote unquote "public servants" that you elect to, like, work for you.
Mhm.
Like, "You're here because I walked my ass to the ballot box. If
Mhm.
you're not gonna do your job." It's so crazy. It feels like that it seems to be, like, the hardest job ever to be fired from, and I don't get it. And I
I
just
still don't
can't.
understand how no one from this admin well, we know they're not following the rules whatsoever, could care less about laws, but how no one is, like, getting fired besides Pam Bondi and what's her name with the husband with the boobs, with the what's Kristi Noem.
Christy, oh,
Yeah,
that dog face bitch. Oh god.
like, besides the 2 of them, I don't think anyone else and even then, it's like the 2 women.
I don't know, girl. I think Cash
Yeah.
Patel's about to work its way out because he keeps getting drunk in
I
Nashville,
yeah,
and, like, look, I get it. I love being drunk in Nashville, but I'm not in charge of the FBI.
right,
I could be the way that I internet stalk, but I'm not.
right.
And it's just I think
It's
it's just
yeah.
so it's so beyond because it really is the antithesis of everything that we grew up understanding. Whether it's, like, culturally speaking, with, like, a lot of the social progress we've made in our lifetimes, like, in specifically our lifetimes. We have yet to even be alive 30 years, and the amount
Mhm.
of social progress that was made
In
was
history,
was
we lived through,
historic.
like, major moments, and we're not even 30 yet.
And
We got 9/11,
well,
Obama getting voted in twice,
and then, like,
this administration.
this shit and it's I think it's just so jarring to me because it seemed like things were gonna go really well the older we got,
But
and then
you
it
know
just
what? I
didn't.
feel like things were on the come up, you know? There was a
Did.
lot to clean up from Trump's first time around, and right when it was like, "Ah, there seems like there's gonna be light at the tunnel, here comes this man." It hasn't even been it's been only 6 months, and look at everything he's done.
Well, it's been
He's
a year and a
flipped the
half.
country upside down.
It has been a year and a half. But yes, it
Wait, what?
yeah, inauguration
Wait,
day was
time is not real.
January 2025 was when he got inaugurated.
Stop lying. Why am I thinking it was this past January?
No, mother.
That's actually crazy. That tells you where my brain is at.
Look, the only thing that I keep telling
Wait, you know what?
myself,
That is correct.
I wake up every day and I'm like, "We're almost halfway there. We're almost halfway there." And
'Cause I remember being so worried about the student loan situation when they were doing that, and I'm like, "Bro, I can't like it." Yeah. They're man. Okay, proceed. I'll get to that when I talk.
um, okay. So I know that, like, things seem very gloom and doom,
Mhm.
but something that I would like to remind our listeners is the bad things keep making headlines, but the good things don't.
Mhm.
Um,
True.
a big thing that I've noticed people talking about, especially online, is about, "Oh, they're 52% of the way through Project 2025. They're 52." Girl, they were supposed to be 100% done in the first year. They're moving too slow, and that's something that I really like, before we really get into, like, anything and everything here,
Mhm.
I understand this feeling of like fear and anxiety and like borderline apathy and despondence because it's like, how did we make all of this progress? All for this fat orange cuck to turn around. Matter of fact, fat orange pedophile to turn around
That
and
part.
and literally help the South essentially rise again. But something that I really want, no matter how negative we get in this episode, something I really want any of our listeners, all of our listeners, whether you're first time, you've been listening since the beginning, you live in America, you don't. The way that this form of fascism works is it has to go at breakneck speeds.
Mhm.
They didn't go fast enough. They
Mhm.
literally I'm a person who read the first time I heard about Project 2025, I read
Mhm.
that hoe cover to cover because I'm not gonna be caught unaware by this administration.
Mhm.
I pass in every form of my marginalization, and so one thing I'm not going to do is act like it won't inevitably trickle down to me just because I pass in every
Mhm.
form of marginalization. That being said, they keep getting sued and they keep losing.
Mhm.
If they were as smart as they want everyone, if they were the evil geniuses they want us all to believe, we would not be living the way that we can still live now. And that's not at all to say that things aren't bad. Things are bad. It's going to take years,
Mhm.
years to get us back to where we were before even the first Trump term.
Mhm.
But the important thing to remember, the like light at the end of the tunnel that we all need to remember is even as they're fucking with election results in the South, even as they're like fucking with the gerrymandered to shit maps that they're only trying to make more gerrymandered, it's important to remember that one, the reason that they're only doing this is because they know they're gonna get dog walked in November.
Mhm.
Like they know it. No matter
Mhm.
what they do to the congressional maps, they're getting dog walked regardless. You
Mhm.
done pissed off the toothless cousin fuckers in Kentucky. You guys it's curtains. I'm so sorry, but it is curtains. And second of all, if what they were doing was successful, our lives would look a hell of a lot different right now. So it's like, I know it sounds like I'm just saying, oh, it could be worse. But if you read the Project 2025 like I did, it could be so much worse, insurmountably worse. It's been bad, but this is nothing that we can't come back from. If everyone who didn't learn their lesson in the last presidential election,
Which
if
how they didn't, I don't know.
because the literacy rate is in the toilet.
That is true.
But
Literacy
if
prices through the roof.
but like God willing, as it does seem like a lot of people, even on the right, are finally learning the lesson that they needed to fucking learn almost 10 years ago. 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't
It
that
does,
something?
dude, like blow my fucking brains out. But like it seems as though enough people are learning the lesson that they needed to, especially in this last election. And if we can all remember that, like, this doesn't have to be our forever,
Mhm.
I foresee our future being a bit brighter. I'm not going to say it's going to be perfect. I'm not saying we're going to be living in a utopia,
Mhm.
but I fear this, like, orange fascism dies when he does.
Mhm.
And I mean, it sucks because they're all gonna go back like roaches under the fucking white refrigerators that they all have in their homes, but actually, let me not talk because I do have a white refrigerator, but
Okay, but it's your white refrigerator.
I live in a high-rise, bitch.
Right.
It cancels
Right.
out. Um, but I have to be hopeful that this will end. I do. I think also keeping in mind that, like, I think the median age for people in the federal government is over 60. These
He needs
people
to
are
go.
Dude, these people are gonna be dying soon. Like, a lot of these people are going to be dying soon.
And I think that's also another push, like, there's a lot of young people running
Mhm.
for political positions, and everybody needs to lock in, and we need to get fresh blood in office in all of these positions. Your Senate, your Congress, even locally, stop letting Meemaw and Peepaw run everything like it's still 1962. We can't. We can't.
No, like, I think one thing that a lot of people need to keep in mind is you don't get some of the power players on the left that we have, like AOC.
Mhm.
I mean, feel however you guys wanna feel about AOC. Her initial election was historic. Like, you cannot deny the fact of that.
And you know what? Mamdani.
And Memdani. And so it's
Let's
like
get into it. The way he has done so much for the city in such little time.
I hope Brandon Johnson is taking notes because that man done pissed me off. I
Like,
sat here and I voted for him because he was supposed to be Chicago's Mamdani and he acting a fucking fool in his press conferences. God damn it.
I'm just like, he he got it on rent, got it on the universal child care, like the 3K program.
Mhm.
I think especially back on the teacher soapbox because we both are teachers. Um, like more than ever, I feel I mean, I've always felt like education should be accessible, but now more than ever, I'm like, no, it needs to be like every child needs access to a free and high.
Girl,
Amen.
he is agreeing with
He is
you.
agreeing with me. Um, every child needs access to a free and high quality education. Point blank. Period. From if you decide to do 3K and like go that young, but preschool to 12th grade, there's no reason why when I tell people I'm a public school teacher, they go, "Oh, bless your heart. That's so kind of you. That must be so hard."
It's a
It's
bare
like,
minimum.
no, it's literally the bare minimum. Like, what do you not everyone has the money to go to a private school. Clay. Yeah, thank you, sugar. Um, not everyone has the money to go to a private school. And also, just because you go to a private school does not mean that you get a better education. Now, in my case, I will say I'm grateful because the high school that was in my neighborhood was not good. Um, but that's also not the case at every private school. There's some trash private schools out there. So he knows. Um, but there needs to be free and high quality education access to everyone, even post high school. Community college classes, why can't you do more free class? Not every college or community college offers free classes. That needs to be accessible to the community, whether it's literacy classes, even like tech classes and like
Mhm.
for even like elderly people using their computers and things like that, or housing. Like housing needs to be for everyone needs to have access to healthcare, affordable and accessible healthcare, housing, and education. I feel like there's no reason anyone should disagree with that.
Well, the reason that these people on the right disagree with that is because it's a money suck. It's because they all wanna be, like, billionaires or at least, like,
And
the poster
privatize
guy.
everything. And it's like y'all just being greedy, absolutely greedy.
Like, what's so crazy is, like so I will say, I think I have a unique well, unfortunately, I don't think it's all that unique anymore, but, I've not so fun facts about me, but I was briefly unhoused after I had left a relationship, and I've noticed that, like, people actually cannot fathom housing insecurity. Like, there are really a lot of people out there who, like, truly madly deep damn.
All the animals on the pod are having a time today.
Dude, what the fuck? Are you okay? Alright.
Is she
Um,
okay?
she seems to be. She's looking at me like, "Stop pointing it out." Um, but yeah, a lot of people actually, like, truly madly deeply cannot fathom housing insecurity. Like, prior to ending up in that situation, because I'm not obviously gonna get into, like, my nitty-gritty. We'll save that for another episode. We'll say if at all, because that that was the most traumatic experience of my life. Um, but after leaving that relationship, it the dude ruined my credit. So, like, finding housing was already going to be bad, as it were, because I don't come from a a group of people who can co-sign things for me or that will co-sign for things for me. And you don't realize, like, when you're sitting there crashing on couches or, like, in spare bedrooms, like, that alone was a privilege for me. I could have been in a much different situation. Um, but after that, like, girl, the one thing I don't fucking play about is my rent, which is
Yeah.
crazy. That's a crazy sentence to say. Like,
Mhm.
yes, you should be paying your rent. But the way that when I was like 19, 20, 21, I'd be like, I paid it at some point in the month, like I'm fine.
Mhm.
Like, but now it's like
Like, no,
30,
it's gotta
it's
get
like the
done.
31st at fucking noon. I'm sending
Mhm.
my Zelle to my landlord because, like,
Mhm.
I know what it's like to not have a reliable roof over my head. And there are thousands of people who don't have the privilege of being able to crash on someone's couch or in someone's spare room, and they can't afford, like, a hotel for a week or whatever temporary solutions. And because of where money gets dispersed and how things just work out, like, even shelters are not the best place for people to end up
Yep.
at depending on their
And
situation.
a lot of them have either closed down or they're, filled, and there's no
Yeah,
places for anyone to go, and then not to mention all of these, families being priced out because of gentrification, and there's nothing being done to assist and even trying to find a place or community resources to help.
right. Like,
It's ridiculous.
there's, like, actually no safety net for people anymore, and
No.
if there ever was. And,
Right.
like, I think that's what really blows the fuck out of me, especially when people are talking about, "Oh, well, you wouldn't have these concerns if you just stopped, like, going to Starbucks." Bitch, I don't go to Starbucks, first of all. I don't remember the last time
Right.
I bought coffee. Like,
Mhm.
and of
I
course
got my
part
little
of
cafe cart.
girl, and especially 'cau I mean, part of that is because I'm fun employed right now, but, like, even before that, I have an espresso, I have a coffee pot, like, my ability to afford certain things is not dependent on, like, if I'm interested in having, like, Chipotle for lunch
It
or,
can't
like,
be deduced to, like, not buying a latte. It's way
no,
bigger than that, and I feel like people try to minimize the issue when they say things like that. It's like, "Oh, well, don't go get that Starbucks. Don't go get that coffee." It's like, "Okay." But at the same time, even for, like, some of my students, there's a lot of kids in my class that deal with food insecurity, housing insecurity, and some of them have been told to be pretty much grateful for the fact that they're getting an apple and a milk and a little stale bowl of cereal that's been sitting there for a week. What's wrong with someone, one, having a preference, and two, you can't say, be grateful for this apple and this cup of cereal? I don't,
see,
I can't. I can't, especially with a child, let alone an adult or anyone else. But telling a child that
yeah.
is crazy to me.
What I have noticed is primarily with the boomers, and I know, oh my god, Gen Z's calling out the boomer. Yeah, bitch, because it's their fucking fault. But also Gen X because they didn't keep their elders in check. Something I have noticed is a lot of the generations that came before us and millennials and, like, the younger Gen Xers is because they didn't have it that great in their opinion.
Mhm.
Anybody who asks for any sort of improvement is asking for too much.
Mhm.
Like, sorry, Deborah, I'm so sorry that you fucking suffered. Does that mean that everyone who came after you, mind you, everyone who was on that ladder underneath you that you shook off
Mhm.
and ripped the ladder up away from
Mhm.
them, you're mad that people want, like, a bare minimum quality of life? And then these are the same people who are like, "Oh, I don't go to major cities because there's crime." Bitch, you took away everybody's fucking hierarchy of need. You literally took away every single person's,
And that's such a tired argument.
like, if we had basic universal income, if we had free healthcare, because we are the only developed country, heavy on the air quotes, because
Mhm.
I think it's incredibly racist the way we write off other countries that are
Yep.
not our own. So heavy on the quote unquote developed country, we are the only one that does not have universal healthcare. Suck my taint. And then so shitty housing options, if at all, food insecurity. You've taken away all of the social programs because you don't want to see black and brown kids enjoy their childhood.
No more third spaces for anyone to build community across the board.
You
Gas
literally
is high.
And then you sit there and you have the cost of living so motherfucking expensive that the parents of these kids are working two, three, four, five jobs, a
Mhm.
household. And then you're like, these fucking kids are acting out of sorts. You literally stripped every single person's basic hierarchy of needs. And
Mhm.
you're shocked that they had to resort to other options.
Mhm.
But you don't want to come look at the bean after 5 p.m. in Chicago because of teen takeovers.
After 5 p.m. is wild, but that's exactly like what the stigma is. Even when I told people, "Oh, I came back from Chicago like this past weekend." "Oh, is it dangerous? I hear it's so dangerous." And I'm like, first of all, this is New York. What are you what are you talking about dangerous? Not like New York is any more dangerous, but it's the fact that you just need to have common sense and street smarts, first of all. But even having students who work full-time jobs and they're still high school students, like that in itself shouldn't have to be. And that's to help out their families to pay rent. It's to put themselves, you know, through college, or they have to live on their own for some reason. All of these things have been stripped away over the years, and it's no one's better for it other than the people who are privatizing and taking the money.
it, it just like, at some point, it just almost becomes like a joke. Like, especially when those that are in charge are especially Democrats, bitch. If Chuck Schumer doesn't get the fuck out of my face, it's these people who are centered to left leaning, who on paper agree that we should have access to all these things, but then want to sit there and be like, oh well, there's nothing we can do because like they said no.
And it's people like that, I feel like they're sellouts. Because it's like I want someone to stand on business for once.
Hmm.
And like, I feel like there's a lot of people who have just sold out this time around, or they've just sat down. Honestly, I want to know what this administration has on some of these people because there's no way that this many people are either being compliant or silent. I'm not going to say taking the other side, but also to me, compliance is, their silence is compliance, or just not putting a move on anything. Didn't, what's his name's nephew? RFK's nephew. Didn't he say something crazy recently?
I think he just didn't have a strong enough take about Israel, and now everybody's all up in arms.
Oh, well, speaking of which, did you see that bill that was, I think it was a bill that was presented about merging the US and Israeli militaries through some sort of something or another. Listen, we're not the news. We're
Well,
not the news, but
I don't know if it was a bill, but I have heard about that. Here's the thing:
matter of fact,
whenever
while you're talking about it, let me look it up right now.
whenever I hear that the U.S. is doing anything in partnership with Israel, I know that they're just gonna come kill a bunch of civilians because that's their whole MO. Um, we literally have spent the last 3 years watching Israel decide that they have the right to enact a genocide on an entire populace, an entire indigenous populace, no less. And the US isn't going to condemn it. I bet, dude, I bet you money. The US is not going to condemn it for real for another 15 to 20 years because it's not popular. It's not in vogue, apparently, to not take APAC money and to be shills for corporations. And I don't I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it.
Same.
I
Um, I'm currently reading on, if anyone would like to read along with me, on congress.gov. Um, this is, I guess the code is HR 1229, United States Israel Defense Partnership Act of 2025. So apparently this is not new, but we're just finding out about it. Um, so under latest action, the House on February 12th, 2025, referred to the Committee of Armed Services in addition to the Committee of Foreign Affairs for a period to be subsequently determined by the Speaker in each case for consideration of such provisions as falls within the jurisdiction of the committee concerned. All right. So specifically, the bill requires the Department of Defense to establish a cooperative program with the concurrence of Israel's military defense, develop and deploy advanced technologies for countering unmanned systems that threaten the United States and Israel, establish Clay. I know. I feel that too. I feel that too. Establish in Israel. Oh, establish in Israel an office of the Defense Innovation Unit, an organization that focuses rapidly on fielding and scaling commercial technology across the U.S. military, and seek to engage Israel's MOD, military defense, on the ascension of Israel into the national technology and industrial base, currently defined in law as a persons and organizations engaged in research, development, production, integration, services, or information technology activities conducted within the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. The bill authorizes DoD, upon request of Israel's MOD, to jointly conduct research, development, test, and evaluation of emerging technologies, such as artificial intelligence and robotics, to meet defense challenges. The bill extends authority for the DoD to carry out a joint basis with Israel to establish anti-tunnel and counter unmanned aerial systems capabilities through 2028, and to transfer defense articles intended for use as reserve stocks for Israel through January 1st, 2029. Thoughts?
girl, I'm gonna keep it a buck. They're just gonna have the IOF teach the what is it, the National Guard how to kill protesters and get away with it. That's
Well,
my tip of the
yes.
hat. Like, here's the
Well,
thing.
yes.
While I don't agree with everything that these evangelical ass leftists had to say about this last presidential election, because I think a lot of it was ignorant, and they got to decide essentially, especially the white leftists, wanted to decide that everybody but them should be martyred for the sake of a Harris loss. I don't agree with all of Kamala's policies. Okay. I don't agree with most Democratic policies because I'm much further left than than the what is common practice
Yeah.
within them fucking people. However, the one thing that I will agree with the leftists on is everything that we saw happen live constantly in the last 3 years in Gaza and in the
Yep.
West Bank
Yep.
was a moral litmus test that a lot of people failed.
A lot.
And the
Yep.
fact that a lot of people watched what they did and the way that they propagandized and warped the narrative to
Mhm.
justify slaughtering. I'm not
Mhm.
saying, and I'm being extremely purposeful with that word. It wasn't just murder. It wasn't just a few, accidental they slaughtered like animals.
Children,
Palestinians.
women, men, journalists,
Anybody.
teachers, students,
Anybody.
anyone and everyone.
They lied and then confirmed that they were eviscerating hospitals. I mean, God, I will never fucking forget the day that I saw the video of all of those babies in the NICU that were dead
Mhm.
because they
Yeah.
bombed that hospital.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, enough people in the Democratic Party saw all of that, and then they're gonna co-sign this shit. These people have no conscience. And so I
No.
actually do not believe that anything good can come out of a defense related partnership between
Mm.
the US military and the IOF.
And also considering Hegseth in this Department of War of his, he's so power hungry and ignorant and unqualified. Of course, we know all these things already. But the fact that he's also purposely cutting people of color and women from promotion within the military,
Mhm.
like, it's a setup. It smells like a setup. I mean, it's obviously like ignorant, and we know that they're all racist and misogynistic and homophobic, but you can't tell me this isn't a setup.
They also, like, at the start of the shit going on with Iran, he fired anybody who didn't agree with him.
Literally.
Like,
And
they're
you had generals who have put their decades of their life into the military and on the line to walk away because they either got fired or walked away.
I mean, like, it's just so beyond me. It is so beyond me. I The only saving grace the US military has with me right now, because I'm not down with any form of imperialism, and that
No.
includes our over militarized system as we have it already. Um, the only saving grace the armed forces has with me right now is that enough of them have been calling essentially the Department of Defense's attorneys
Yeah.
to make sure that what they're being asked to do is not a war crime.
Mhm.
Um, so the fact that there are still enough good eggs that
Mhm.
won't just do whatever the draft dodger in office
Mhm.
and Pete Kegsbreath, our Fox
Mhm.
News reporter,
Mhm.
are blatantly telling them to listen to, like, and that's the thing, that's where my sliver of hope comes from, because there are still enough people who have some modicum of stopping power
Mhm.
that have been stepping in and repeatedly step in and get in the way and slow the cogs down. That being said, it is not lost on me that when there has been such clear division in the Department of Defense, that now they wanna link up with Israel,
Right.
because those IOF soldiers don't give a fuck.
They don't.
They don't give a
They
fuck,
don't.
and they're not about to sit and pretend like they don't give a fuck.
And
Because
they know what they're doing. Well, now talking about the US um Department of Defense. They know what they're doing is wrong. They know that they can't get away with it. So you need to partner up with someone who gets away with all of it, some way, somehow.
I think it's honestly because a lot of people are very afraid of being called anti-Semitic because they haven't been able to work out the difference between anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism. And that's a really loaded statement. And just as we've made clear in our last episode and in this one, we're not down for anti-Semitism. Like, we
No.
1,000% believe that there's no excuse for any form of, like, prejudice isn't even strong enough of a word
Mhm.
against Jewish people, both domestically and globally.
Mhm.
However, my ethos as a human being, nobody deserves an ethno state.
No.
Nobody. I don't care what your culture is. I don't care what your race is. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care about any of that. Nobody deserves an ethno state. And especially nobody deserves an ethno state by, again, slaughtering the indigenous
Mhm.
population there to get it. If it was promised to you
Mhm.
in a mysterious book, first of all, where they plopped Israel down was arbitrary. It was arbitrary. But also, like, we live in the current era. We are not dealing with the same biblical strifes. Like, and like,
Right.
I'm not down with apartheid anywhere. I did when I learned about what was happening in
Mhm.
South Africa, I was pissed about that.
Mhm.
Like, even though it had already been resolved by the time I had
Mhm.
learned about it, because I'm young.
Mhm.
But it's like there's no excuse for anyone to have an ethno state. And I also hate the fact that, like, those that be are trying to make the US also an ethno state. And
Yeah.
it's like, you guys are godless fucking people.
And they're trying to start it in the South. Like you said, the South is ramping back up because the way that they gerrymandered and remap those districts so quick, you can't tell me that wasn't planned. You couldn't tell me they didn't have that in their back pocket for these past couple decades.
See, but
That was crazy.
it's illegal when the voting populace votes to redistrict.
Mhm.
But it's not illegal when a bunch of white men kick out their very few and far
Mhm.
between Black caucus members
Mhm.
and remove them from the ability to vote, and then they censor
Mhm.
them. See, and this is why if you guys aren't following Brother Jones on Instagram, you need to get into it. He's a state legislator in Tennessee. The way that he describes what is happening in the South, but then also brings light to the South that he wants to see.
Mhm.
Because let's be so clear to like any of our international listeners, the culture you guys think resides in LA and New York, you're missing so much culture in the Rust Belt and in the Bible Belt
Mhm.
and in the South
Mhm.
and in the Great Lakes regions, like
Mhm.
and in the Southwest. Like there's so
Mhm.
much culture that like frankly a lot of y'all steal.
Yes. Well, yes.
That is that is located specifically in the South,
Mhm.
where it's like when people like those who are illegally redistricting and gerrymandering these maps, these places have some of the richest Black history, Latin
Mhm.
history, like indigenous history, and it's just so baffling. Like, dude, the
And
fucking
they try to mute it, muffle it, however you want to put it. They try to downplay it so much. But the reason anything ever has succeeded and become popular in the United States is because of Black people and people of color.
that's right. I know that's right. Happy Pride. Rest in power,
But
Marsha P. Johnson.
yeah, Black people, people of color, and the LGBTQIA community. The three key players, your top three. That's why everything has become popular and succeeded and like come mainstream is because of those three groups of people. You're welcome. Um, and they try to downplay it as much as they can, but they won't succeed.
It's just see, this is what happens when the North did not pack the South up like they should have after Reconstruction and during Reconstruction. They just turned around and went, okay, so we can't have slaves anymore. Here's Jim Crow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just slavery with extra steps, beloved.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, I was just reading as you were talking too, because I was like, let me look this up before I even mention it. But Mr. Man from Palantir, he fled to Argentina.
I did see that.
And I find that very interesting.
I mean, girl, Nazis always flee to Argentina.
No, I know that, but I'm just like, you can't be original, you know? Um, and he's like screaming about the end of the world or whatever, or talking about the way that the US is going and blah, blah, blah. As if this isn't the man who is like establishing, you know, a surveillance
Surveillance
state.
state.
Right. Like, what do you mean end of the world? You have a hand in it, sir.
See, part of me though does see that as a bit hopeful because a lot of people are starting to jump off the boat prior to the midterms because they know these motherfuckers are going to jail. They all know they're going to jail. Like they all know they're going to jail.
Quickly in a handbasket.
And
I
I
go to jail,
do
actually.
like I need because Lord knows fucking Congress isn't going to do it because they're all a bunch of bitches. But I need whatever Democrat we elect into the presidency
Mhm.
in 2028.
Girl, that's around the corner. Isn't that crazy?
I need them to be one vengeful motherfucker. Like
Mhm.
I'm not doing this like we're pussyfooting around and like not really charging him shit. Why did it take 4 years of a Biden presidency for him to like even catch a charge? Like I don't understand.
Right.
I want that to be like a day one, like I'm in office, everyone's
Mhm.
going to jail. Everyone's going to jail.
Mhm.
Like there needs to be some modicum of faith restored in the checks and balances. And like we
And
can't
that also needs to be put in check because the checks and balances are no more.
well, I mean, let's be so serious. The Supreme Court, excluding, I think, a brief period of time in the 70s, has always leaned more conservative. Like,
Mm.
if you look at the history of the Supreme Court, almost always has it leaned conservative. And truly, in my opinion, the only two ways you can change that is one, finally implement term limits.
Yes.
It's been 250 years.
Yep.
These bitches need a term limit.
Yep.
Or extend the court.
Mhm.
We haven't always had how many is it, 7 justice it
Mhm.
hasn't always been that way.
Mhm.
Like, it's the Constitution is a fluid document. The we can move some things around. We can
It
make
could be
some things
shuffled.
um, like, most of that shit was written well before our lifetimes, like
Mhm.
and then things have been added. That's why we have
Mhm.
so many amendments. But, like, when it comes to the checks and balances of the judiciary branch, I've never had much faith in those bitches, especially because Ruth Bader Ginsburg knew she was finna die and she didn't retire. Like, you held on to that for the sake of saying you were Supreme Court justice and then went and died in Trump's first term. Like, you could have left when
Ex
Obama was still in that hoe and we could have replaced you, but
Mhm.
now then we ended up with fucking Brett Kavanaugh.
My god.
But like in terms of Congress, these bitches need to lock in. Like,
Immediately,
these bitches
actually.
need
They
to
have
lock
30 minutes.
I have never seen a group of such feckless bastards in my entire life. Do you know how pissed off I have to be at a group of people to start using ACT and SAT prep words? Like
Come on, vocabulary.
I have never seen the most
Mm-mm.
moralless, feckless, pussyfooted bastards in my entire fucking life. Like, the money cannot be that good.
It
Like,
mm-mm.
the money cannot be that good.
But that's why I say, like, they have to have some deep feet in something across the
It's the
board.
fucking billionaire class, bro. They're getting paid off
Right.
by all
It's
of these private
access.
corporations. Like,
Access, extra money on the side.
it's favors.
Right.
It's oligarchical to the fucking T. I don't expect anything from Republicans. Every Republican I've ever heard speak in my entire fucking life
I'd
has been
rather
an
they just
idiot.
not.
Has been an idiot. The only person that ever made like one modicum of sense was like Mitt Romney for like 15 minutes in his entire political career. And like that's not saying much. That's again a drop in a bucket. His
Mhm.
entire political career has been how long? Okay, first Mormon congressperson. Suck my ass. Like, but like people on the left, especially y'all have Twitter fingers, but I'm not seeing any of you do
I
a
need that
fucking
action.
thing. Like, I don't want to see the official Democrat Party Twitter account tweeting at like Republicans to shut the fuck up. If you don't get up in that House of Representatives and
Mhm.
start making something shake,
Right. Flip a
because
table.
because
Do
I can
something.
promise you, when the more of Gen Z that starts getting elected,
Mhm.
the more millennials that start getting elected, as these like old octogenarians
Mhm.
start dying out. Chuck Schumer, I'm waiting for you. Um, as these old people start dying out, like a lot more people who have views that are now considered radical, even though they're just
Mhm.
basic equitable rights.
Mhm.
As these people start dying out, like these Republicans are not gonna know what to do with, like, Gen Z and younger
Because they're not gonna be
millennials.
able to uphold the nonsense that they so deeply stand for.
Oh, girl, I mean, look, at the end of the day, my community, the punk community especially, our ethos is to punch Nazis.
Mhm.
So I need people on that congressional floor
Mhm.
to start biting their nails off,
Mhm.
going to town, because I'm sick of this shit. Like, I'm actually sick of this shit.
And I'm also tired of, like, all of these hearings that I see after the fact. because the yes and no questions, and then the Republicans, whomever, sitting there, they don't wanna answer the question, they wiggle their way around the question. It's like, "Alright, but where are we going? What are we getting to?" I
See,
need somebody to stand up and be like, "Just jump across the table and get to work." I mean,
what's so crazy to me is in, like, the court of law, you cannot get away with doing that fucking shit.
exactly, which is
Like,
why I'm like, what are we doing here?
I
What's
think
going on?"
my last boss had a lovely philosophy that he adopted
Mhm.
after Trump got elected the second time, and he basically was like, "If they can do it, I can do it too." Um, and I do fear I have adopted that a little bit in my day to day,
Well, yes.
where it's like these Republicans get up online and they start running their fucking mouths and talking about all this shit and this, that, and the third, and it's like, "Okay, so are you gonna beat my ass about it? Do you wanna
Answer
fight
quickly.
do you wanna fight me about it? Do you know how many years of teenage rage I still have in this body?" 'Cause that's the thing, these people are not about it. Like,
They're not,
these people tote their fucking AK-47s and their ARs and, like, their little pistols and shit.
and they will poo their pants the moment that you try to step to them.
Dude, they're scared. The only people that were about it like that were the fucking ICE agents, and then they keep, like, and now they all keep quitting in droves because they know that they're
Mhm,
outnumbered.
mhm.
Like, we get me out of here. Although, you know what? I do wanna say one thing, is I need a lot of these people to stop comparing what's happening in the US right now to 1930s Germany.
Yeah.
Hitler learned from the US. This is
Say
who
that
the
one
U
more time for the people in the back.
Hitler Adolf Hitler, art school failure, literally learned.
Yes. I think people are majorly missing that part.
They learned from the US. The way
Mhm,
that we are looking at our country right now is a mirror. It is
mhm,
not a reflection
mhm,
of what those that I mean, don't get me wrong, these people love Nazis, so of course they're picking shit up
mhm,
from that too. But this is a mirror of what the US has been for the last 250 years.
mhm,
This country is ugly as sin when you
mhm.
really look back at our history. Of course, we've had some cool stuff. Like, yeah, cool. We went to the fucking moon to beat some Russians, but like,
But this country has a dark history, and I really just need people to recognize that and reckon with it. I mean, all of us, like, Black people, people of color do, because it's reality. Like, the fact that they wouldn't even, say that slavery was bad at the UN, like, all the countries that had a direct hand in it, like, sustained or just, like, said, "No, like, we're not gonna acknowledge that." I'm
these are
like, "Wow, okay, so y'all just wanna be delusional, and you wanna build or promote the history that you think is correct, but that's not the reality whatsoever," and we're seeing that every single day with this administration.
well, these people don't want to acknowledge it though because they're in the fucking history books as they're screaming at Ruby
Mhm.
Bridges for walking into the first school that let in both Black and
Mind
white.
you, Ruby Bridges is still, like
She has a TikTok.
she has a TikTok. Yeah,
Ruby Bridges has a TikTok.
yeah,
Our generation is only 5 to 7 generations removed from slavery.
yeah. If that.
I mean, yeah, depending on how old some of your ancestors lived, like
Yeah.
that gap is smaller, but on average, the specifically the Black American population
Mhm.
is only 5 to 7 generations removed from slavery. So I don't
That's not a lot at
I
all.
get that the US in the grand scheme of the global stage is a newer country. It's a
Mhm.
fairly young country at the end of the day. But that does not mean that the way our country is and has been and the
Is
mirror that
right,
we're
'cause it's
looking at it
not.
through, well, it also doesn't mean it's permanent.
Mm-mm.
This
That
isn't how
true.
it has to be.
Mhm.
And I think we all need to, like, free ourselves from, like, the internalized
And lock in as a
biases.
collective. I feel
Y'all
like ever since that orange corn, um, got back into office, like, community now is more important than ever,
Mhm.
and mobilizing with your people and start making those community resources for each other. Start, having those sustaining relationships because they don't care about us. Point blank. They just want to fill their pockets, fill their purses, and use everyone else as collateral. I feel like that's truly just the simple fact of it, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, it is. I've noticed a lot of people are asking the question, especially because our economy's shit. Inflation is awful.
Mhm.
Every other person I know has been laid off
Mhm.
from their jobs. And I've noticed a lot of people have been asking the question of like, well, if nobody can work, then like how do these billionaires expect to da da da? Girl, they expect you to die.
Mhm.
They don't expect you to bounce back.
Mhm.
They expect you to starve. That's why they're
Mhm.
gutting community resource. These people have deluded themselves into thinking that they can take both the bread and the circus.
Mhm.
And so that is why community is so important. And like that can look like so many different things. Know your neighbors. Get to know
Yeah.
your neighbors. Get to know the people you like see every single day.
Yeah.
Um
The people you see on your commute, the person that you see at the deli in the morning, there's so many interactions that we can make meaningful relationships from on a daily basis. I think we should all take advantage of that.
yeah. I also think that and I'm talking now specifically to those
Mm.
who are like slowly leaving the MAGA cult.
Mhm.
First of all, I will never claim you as a fellow countryman again. Let's just be so
No.
clear. I think the fact that you voted for him a third time is treasonous,
Mhm.
and you should face the
Even a
penalty.
second time.
But
To be honest, the first time too.
look, I will give people a pass for the first time and only the first time because a lot of people voted for party loyalty. A lot of people have issues with Hillary
Yeah.
Clinton because, to be fair, Hillary Clinton's scandals did follow her through her election. She got a lot of people killed for no fucking reason. And so I can understand why people voted for him the first time because they really did not fuck with Hillary Clinton. The second and the third time, y'all actually can stay the fuck away from me. I
Mhm.
never want to see you again.
No.
But that being said, if you are unfortunately here as we're ripping you apart and all of your ideals, while we will never accept you,
Mhm.
somebody probably will. And so, what you need to remember going forward as you start to leave this cult like behavior, as you start to leave this incredibly foul train of thought and this path of thinking, is now that you're out of it, if you
Mhm.
are, do me a favor and start realizing that the way you've been affecting other people has only been punching laterally.
Mhm.
You have not punched down on a single person. It has
Mhm.
all been lateral. Because at the end of the day, especially you poor white people, you financially unwell white people, the enemy has never been a black man. It's never been a black
Speak on
woman.
it.
It's never been a trans person.
Speak on it.
It's never been an immigrant that stole your job.
Speak on it.
You just really loved your proximity to whiteness and thought it
Mm.
would save you.
Mhm.
But when they took your food stamps last year, when they paused your Medicaid last year,
When it
when
directly affected them, then they cared.
when your gas prices are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, $10, depending on where the fuck you live a gallon, when your FDA loans start getting denied, it wasn't the immigrant that came from a South American country because that's where you all apparently think only immigrants come from. It wasn't black people in your neighborhood who could afford the same house as you. It
Or a better
wasn't
one.
It wasn't trans people who wanted to play fucking soccer with your dumbass kids, and it wasn't the public school teachers teaching the history of the US. It was the people whose cocks you're sucking that are sitting there laughing at you from their fourth and fifth mansion while you scrape by for nothing.
Mhm.
All of you people have betrayed yourself for nothing. And while some of you are now realizing it, a lot of you aren't. And that's why all of you will be left behind.
Mhm.
Because if you can't get used to the fact that you have affected only people lateral to you, you will never be able to effectively punch up on people who are actually affecting you.
No.
Also, read a fucking book. Jesus Christ.
That's all it takes.
If you read a third grade's history textbook, you would know why your most recent vote was a bad idea.
Right.
Like, Jesus Christ. You don't even need the reading level you should have to understand.
Exactly.
God
That
damn.
wow. Well, I was gonna say, do we wanna do our diva down? I'm just gonna call it this week, diva down. No, diva detention. Diva detention. I like that.
Like,
Is there anyone we're putting in diva detention this week?
everyone. Everyone's being put in timeout. Every single buddy. Everyone's being put in timeout.
Yeah,
I honestly am. I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm just disappointed in everyone who's supposed
same,
to be taking care of us.
same. It shouldn't be this hard, and everyone deserves to have access to well, first of all, let me backtrack. I mean, same idea that I'm gonna say, but everyone deserves and should have the best quality of life possible. Um, just period. Health, housing, education, food, everyone, there's no reason that this country is great as it is marketed to be, um, should have the amount of people just truly trying to scrape by.
Hmm.
And that's wildly disappointing on their part.
I'm gonna need all of my listeners. Look, you have 5 months to do this homework. I'm gonna need
Mhm,
all of our listeners to start doing research on who has made it to their ballots for the midterms.
mhm.
And I'm gonna need all of you to lock in
Yeah,
because this gerrymandering isn't gonna go away.
no.
Um,
And we gotta go vote.
like if you are 18, I need you to go register. In Illinois, you can register same day. Like,
Mhm, same for New York and New Jersey.
I need everybody to register to vote, and I need y'all bitches to vote from top to bottom of
Yep,
that ballot
yep.
because we don't end up with the shit that we have going on in the federal government without taking care of what's happening on your local levels also.
Say it again.
Vote down ballot, God damn it!
Those local elections matter just as much
They
as
do.
anything else.
And if you guys are lost, I don't know if they have this in New York and in New Jersey, but in Illinois, we have the Girl I Guess endorsement scale where
Oh.
where people for free 99 produce a a Google Docs page of the most progressive candidates on the ballot. And y'all
We will
bitches want to
put
be
that
voting.
link in the description.
Y'all want to be voting for progressives at this point because your run of the mill establishment Dems aren't doing fucking anything for
No,
you.
they won't.
And surely your Republican counterparts aren't doing anything for you either.
I don't even think they should be a thought. Like, let's not even go that route.
No.
Yeah.
Um and yeah, basically like nobody's free until we're all free.
Period. Free Palestine.
Free Palestine, free the fucking US
Sudan.
at this point, free the
Yeah.
Congo,
Deserves to be free.
every single buddy. And make sure you lock in with your communities because God
Yes,
forbid that this midterm doesn't go too hot. We're going to end up with another 2 years of shit. At least in November, we can try to gridlock it all.
that is true. So everybody, please do your research. Please start locally. Start creating community, which I know many of you, hopefully, that listen do. But continue to be a resource to each other, care for each other. Um, yeah. Well, on that note, um, don't forget to wash your hands. The hand dryer is broken, but there are paper towels in the sink.
Yeah.
Um, there's a line.
Mm.
Follow us on social media before you leave. Instagram, TikTok. We got a website, super cute. Um, and yeah,
That's it. That's all we
that is
got. Also, just kidding, I lied. Fuck. Protect reproductive rights and do your civic duty of punching a Nazi once a day.
absolutely. I second that. Bye.
Bye.